When the World Cup arrived, the city seemed more alive than ever. Visitors from every corner of the world filled the streets, restaurants stayed open late into the night, and conversations everywhere revolved around football. People described it as a once-in-a-lifetime atmosphere. For 19-year-old Layla, however, that summer began with heartbreak rather than celebration. Just 3 days before the opening match, a long-running conflict with her stepfather finally reached a breaking point. What started as another argument quickly turned into something much bigger. By the end of the evening, Layla had packed a few belongings into a backpack and was standing outside her home, waiting for her mother to stop her from leaving. She never did. With nowhere else to go, Layla spent the following weeks moving between inexpensive hostels and temporary accommodations while taking any work she could find. The World Cup created thousands of short-term jobs, and she accepted nearly all of them. Some days she sold drinks outside stadiums, while on others she helped clean venues after matches or handed out promotional materials to tourists. Although she was surrounded by excitement every day, she often felt completely disconnected from it. She watched fans celebrate victories and sing in the streets while worrying about whether she would have enough money for another week of housing. One evening, after finishing a shift near a stadium hosting a knockout stage match, Layla began walking toward the train station. As she approached a nearby intersection, she noticed flashing lights and a crowd gathered around several police vehicles. Curious, she slowed down, but nobody seemed to know what had happened. The next morning, news began spreading throughout the city that a young woman had disappeared near the same area. Most people continued enjoying the tournament, but Layla couldn't stop thinking about it. Something about the story unsettled her, and over the following. As the tournament continued, news about a missing woman spread across the city. Some believed she had left on her own, while others feared something more serious had happened. The uncertainty made many people uneasy, especially those working late shifts. Layla tried to stay focused on surviving day to day, taking whatever work she could find around the stadiums, but a strange feeling kept growing. Over several days, she noticed the same man appearing in different places she visited. Near a stadium entrance, then a train platform, then outside a shop close to her hostel. At first, she dismissed it as coincidence, but it kept happening. One night after a long shift during a major match, she returned to her hostel exhausted. The moment she entered her room, she stopped. Something was wrong. Her backpack had been opened. Her things were shifted. Nothing was missing, but someone had clearly been inside. On her bed was a folded piece of paper. Her hands shook as she opened it. It said only 4 words. "Go home while you can." Fear hit her immediately. She reported it, but there were no witnesses, no footage, and no explanation. Staff insisted nothing unusual had been seen. No one could tell her who entered the room. As the World Cup reached its final days, Layla made a decision. With help from a support group, she arranged temporary housing and training in another city. It was not what she planned for her life, but staying felt worse. On the day of the final match, while the city focused on football and celebrations filled the streets, Layla quietly left on a bus. She never learned who had been in her room. She never knew if the man she saw was connected to the message. And she never found out what happened to the missing woman. Years later, people remembered that World Cup for the matches. Layla remembered it as the moment she chose to survive and start over.